To order the meeting. Today's Wednesday, November 20th, 2013, council meeting at 6 o'clock. This evening, the invocation be by Pastor Brock Schiffer, followed by the police, excuse me, not the Explorers, this is the real A-team here. So could we all please rise? That's awesome. Pastor, you want to go ahead?
Be happy to. Let's bow our heads. Father God, for those of us who are here for the last hour, we are continually reminded of the goodness of Homestead, the wonderful things that people are doing that live in this community. Father, we are a community that needs to pull together. Father, we have a new leadership in this room. So, Father, I ask that you work in the life of each and every one of our council members. I thank you for the people that are standing and sitting up there. I thank you for their willingness to serve you. But I would challenge all of us, Father, who love you and love this community, that we would seek your counsel and your wisdom in all the decisions that we make. And that, Lord, this community would go forward, that we would be an example of a godly community. And, Father, we can't wait to see what you're going to do in the months and years ahead. As always, Father, may we leave Homestead better than we found it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Could everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Chief, I'd like to thank you for the honor guard tonight. That's very special for us. Appreciate it very much. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Burgess.
Here. Here.
Councilman Maldonado.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Present.
Councilwoman Faircloth.
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Shelley.
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Here. Next on the agenda is item 3 is any comments from the public. We'll open up for public comments at this time.
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. Welcome, Mayor Porter.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't expect to see you sitting in that chair, but welcome. I'm very enthused about your remarks, your promise to build the new City Hall. I really think that that should have been done 4 years ago, and I want to see it come forward in my lifetime. I have to thank the city manager for holding his team together, because just like what they have to do here every night for a meeting and then break it down for other meetings, the city employees are in a rented space that's not cohesive, in my opinion, to running a city. So I do have to thank the city manager for holding this team together. Another issue that you promised in your 332 pamphlets you sent to my house was that you were going to improve the traffic. And I only have to remind you that the reason we have so much problems with traffic, when you sat up there years ago, you allowed the density of housing. And the more houses you put into an area means there's more traffic. And of course, as you well know, I spoke against abandoning Maori east of 152. We can't bring that back because we can't take those houses. So I'm going to be following your input and your suggestions to improve the traffic. I think that is something that every homeowner and every resident would like to see. And another issue I'd like to see the whole council tackle is in 2010, you did away with requirements that anybody sitting on a city commission or board didn't have to be a city resident. That makes no sense. It didn't make sense at the time. Why does somebody that lives outside the city making decisions for the ones living in the city? So I'd like the council, along with you, Mayor Porter, to look into changing that. And one other issue, we've all seen the stories in the paper. I don't want to go over each and every one of them, but you should institute background checks once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Janice Klein-Young, and I'm the board chair of Art South on 240 North Chrome Avenue. I've been affiliated with Art South for the past 10 years. I'm surrounded by some of my staff and some of my resident artists, supporters, and my board members. Just to let you know, to update the City Council and the new mayor, Art South is preparing to leave our building in downtown Homestead. We have up until the end of December to leave that building and relocate. We're hoping to relocate within the city of Homestead and continue the kinds of programming that we've been providing for the past 13 years. If you're not aware, Art South has we have studio space for resident artists who also acts as our teaching artist, providing after-school programming, during school field trips, and a very comprehensive art summer camp. We provide services for probably thousands of children over the years and thousands of underserved families. So it's a bit painful to come in front of the board right now to say that we're going to have to relocate. Our building has been sold and we'll no longer be able to afford that space. So we're reaching out to the public. We've been reaching out through letters and through news media to see if we can find a place to relocate so that we don't leave the city of Homestead. That's our plea, is that we don't have to fold like many other arts entities that have folded in the city of Homestead. We'd like to stay here and to continue to provide the arts services for the families and the children of the city of Homestead. We know that I listened to Mr. Perez discuss the fact that he intends to open retail space in our former facility. And we know that we don't fit that vision because we service people who will never be able to probably luncheon in the courtyard there, or never be able to buy clothing in his boutiques or whatever, because we provide services for underserved children who live in the homeless shelter, for the Miami Bridge, and for people who really can't afford those kind of amenities. So we hope to stay in Homestead. We're asking that asking on behalf of my staff, and they'll come and speak to you as well, that we are able to stay here in the city of Homestead and continue servicing those families here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Councilman, my name is Mimi Dixon, and I'm a resident of Art South since the day it opened. And so this is 13 years. It has been part of my life for the past 13 years, and I have seen it grow from a small group of artists to a large group that has an effect on the entire city and the South Dade area. Art South brings to Homestead a culture that Homestead never had before. And we are asking you to consider that we would like to continue this, where the children are engaged in the fine arts, music and drama and music. And we really need your help to keep us living. Thank you.
Mr. Major, members of the council, I'm an artist at Art South. I'm also a resident of Homestead. I've been living in Homestead for 12 years now. I've been in Art South for 11 years. As a resident artist, Art South is an institution that have provided myself, many other professional artists, and emerging artists with affordable working spaces, which we're losing now. And everything else has been said. The service to the community, I think, is quite evident, and we're asking for your support in helping us find a place where we can continue this work in the city of Homestead. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Isabel Arnaz, and I ran the summer camp program last year. We ran it and serviced over 100 children and their families as well. Some of these children had trouble expressing their feelings, and through art and through the avenues we provide through music and dance, they were able to express how they felt and their needs as well. We also supported the parents of these children who are needy and underserved, and we're asking for some help from you to find for us some space where we can relocate to and continue delivering the services we have delivered to our children. Thank you.
Let me get Vice Mayor Shelley to comment a little bit. He's the liaison to the downtown. Mr. Shelley.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I've had a chance to meet with Art South on numerous occasions to try to help work with them to find temporary space. You know, the last time I think I reported back to you guys, they had a lead at that time that they thought might work out, that they might be able to move into. Unfortunately, it was cost prohibitive. They weren't able to afford the rent at that location. And so now they're back to where they were before, and that is they have no location. And so I think the main purpose for them coming tonight is to, one, inform the council, give you up to speed as far as where they are and what they're trying to do, and also ask for some help, because they need help not only from us, but they also from the public. And so this is kind of an outward plea to see what out there, what public entities out there, businesses are out there that can help find Art South a home or help find Art South a way to continue the good work that they're doing for our city. And then also, if any of the council members, have any ideas, we can also work on it. I have asked the city manager to look into some spaces, both citywide, to see if there's anything we can do to help them out. They have two missions in what they do, and one is the art mission, which is providing actual studios for the artist, as well as art programming. And the other is more children-based, and that's serving the underprivileged kids in the neighborhoods and the communities. And so they have two things that they're trying to work on, and we're trying to keep both alive if we possibly can. But they're looking at all the options, and this is just a way of getting you guys informed and asking you to help work with them and see what we can all do to work together as a community to keep the Art South's mission alive. So.
Any other comments from the council? I think you'll find that the council is fully supportive of your efforts, and I can tell from the looks around the table. Just give us an opportunity to work with you, okay? Any more public comments at this time?
Good afternoon. Elder Jerome Warren again, representing SEDMA. As you know, we talked to you guys over the past month or so concerning the Hallelujah Night, and we just want to thank you for your outstanding success. We could not have done it without you. It was an overwhelming success, and we really appreciate you. And we want to say thank you. We have a plaque for the city of Homestead to display in the office. And we have some certificates for the council members. And we want to read off the plaque. It says, Certificate of Appreciation awarded to the city of Homestead. SEDMA would like to present this certificate in grateful appreciation for your outstanding, dedicated services to the people of your community and for your support of Hallelujah Night 2013. Reverend Dr. Curtis Thomas. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation awarded to the City of Homestead, Vice Mayor John Burgess. SEDMA would like to present this certificate in grateful appreciation for your outstanding dedication, service to the people of your community, and the support of Hallelujah Night 2013. Awarded October 2013, Reverend Dr. Curtis Thomas. Would you come and that we can present the certificates to you, please? Vice Mayor John Burgess. Thank you, sir. Councilman Elvis Maldonado. Councilwoman Patricia Fairclough McCormick. Councilwoman Judy Waldman. Councilman Jimmy Williams. And Councilman Steve Shelley. And again, we thank you so much, and we look forward to your participation with us, hopefully in the coming year, 2014. Thank you. And this is for the new mayor, Mr. Porter, Jeff Porter. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and people here at the meeting. I'm not a member of Art South, but I am an artist and am an individual here in Homestead. And I personally have profited by having Art South as an institution in the city of Homestead, both their shows and the artists that they have attracted to the city. Furthermore, I live in the villages of Homestead, and numbers of people right on my street and in the villages have come into town and participated in the activities that they put on. And they mentioned a number of activities for children, but they also do have lots and lots of activities for adults. So I would sincerely hope that you all would be supportive of them. Thank you.
Howdy, Kevin Pedersen, 29430 Southwest 172 Avenue. That's where I reside. I think I live at 406 Washington Avenue. But first of all, I wanted to say, something just came to my mind. I was trying to get my wife to come here tonight, but she's at City of Cutler Bay. They have their meeting tonight. I want to tell you, working with the City of Homestead as a business owner is a dream. compared to working with the city of Cutler Bay. I'm here to tell you that. It is a dream. All right, and I really thank you all for that, because I mean that from the bottom of my heart and also from my pocket. But I wanted to say thank you for two things, and then I wanted to say something else. But thank you as a veteran for what this city did a couple weeks ago for veterans, and Councilwoman Waldron for putting those flags out. Let me tell you something. One of those flags goes on my dad's grave. My dad was a P-38 fighter pilot and against the Japanese, and I get a little emotional, but you know, from a family that serves, you know, my brother and I both, you know, we've taken bullets for this country. My son's taken 2. He was born here in Homestead at Homestead Air Force Base. He's real proud of him. I was able to send him a video the other day when you had the parade, and I saw y'all where you were in your vehicles, and the only thing I will say, my son said, who's got 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star, he said, Dad, you know, you got to tell that guy from the South Day News Leader that the Army song gets played first. So Dale's not here, I don't think, but I would tell him that. But with that said, I want to thank you for that, because you know, for people that serve and have served, you know, and have had to lead men into harm's way, which I don't hope that on anybody, it means an awful lot. You might not hear people say that, but when you're standing on the side and you see y'all walk by, it means an awful lot. So thank you for that.
If I could just, Mayor, if I could just say something.
Go right ahead.
That means more to me than you'll ever know. And there's a flag on my dad's grave too out there, and my grandfather. And it was a beautiful sight to see people come out, Mayor and Councilwoman Faircloth and others. It was just a beautiful sight, and I hope more people participate next year. I've been doing it for a long time, but that means a lot to me, Kevin. You just have no idea. There's some pictures on Facebook, on my Facebook page, if you'd like to go on and see them. It was amazing, and it was all because of the Mayor's Youth Council and all the volunteers that came out that helped us place them. So it was done with, I get emotional too, especially out there during the ceremony, but the Reverend who played the bagpipes, I mean, I think that just tore us all apart, but it was beautiful, and we felt very good. I went back out the next day because we were having all those winds, and a lot of them had fallen over, so I walked it with my husband, and we picked up the ones that had fallen over, but it's my favorite thing to do every year. Thank you. I hope you'll be there with me next year.
Yeah, and thank you for that, and also to say thank you for the new leadership. Look forward to it. I think we had a great group of people up here. Anytime we've asked to meet with y'all, you have. I thank you for that. Couldn't ask for more. I'm fortunate to be a high school wrestling coach, and I get to tell my kids, I'll tell you, if they were sitting here right now, Coach Pedersen's going to say, we put a man on the moon 40 years ago, we can do this, we can get this done. And there's a lot of things that we can get done that we've talked about getting done. City Hall, lower an electric bill. So I'm just challenging y'all to let's get it done. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Kevin. That's it? Okay. Mr. Manager, moving on to additions, deletions, or deferrals.
Yes, Mayor, the applicant has requested that the following tabs be removed. Tabs 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 regarding Palm Ridge Gardens subdivision. And the applicant plans to submit revised plans relatively soon. We expect at the December meeting, possibly January.
Mayor.
And Mr. Mayor, there is an item, CAR 1011, dealing with the I Have a Dream production that needs to be added to the agenda. And it would be appropriate for a motion to make all of those adjustments.
Move it. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I make any opposed? No opposed.
Thank you.
Can I make a quick comment, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
For anybody that doesn't have an agenda in front of them, is here for the property to the north of East Lake. All the items have been removed. I see a couple neighbors out there. So anybody that was concerned about that issue and was here to speak on it, sorry for the inconvenience, but there's no need to be here any longer tonight. The applicant pulled everything. Thank you.
I can be excused then.
Now, do we need to take CAR 1011 now?
You can take it whenever you'd like to, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and move, to see if there's a motion to move that as a separate item, CAR 1011.
Move it.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Burgess. Any discussion?
Staff report.
Mayor, at the Committee of the Whole meeting on November 12, 2013, the Mayor and Council directed staff to draft an agreement between Theater South Atlanta and the City of Homestead for the funding of I Have a Dream production. Tickets to the performance will be priced at $5, with 66.6% of the proceeds to be returned to the city. There's an agreement attached to this item. Staff requests the Mayor and Council approve the agreement between Theater South Atlanta and the City of Homestead, providing funding of $10,000 for the I Have a Dream production, which would take place at the FICA Williams Community Center on January 24, 2014. There's going to be a preview of the production that will be performed during the Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast on January 17, 2014.
Any comments from the public? Questions from the public? Any further comments from council? Questions from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough.
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman.
Yes.
Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, we'll go to the next item is item 5, consent agenda.
Yeah, Mayor? Yes. I'd like to be excused from the rest of the meeting, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Are you asking
Is
for
there-
a motion?
Is there a motion?
I move.
Ms. Waldman moved. Second? Second by Ms. Vice Mayor. Is that what you, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, yes.
Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the public? All in favor? Motion carries. Item 6, quasi land use items. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization, and further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyists must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications they've had concerning the following agenda items. Hearing none at this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on the following quasi-judicial items.
Would you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I. Please state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, we're on CAR 1028, resolution for special exception to permit a church.
Yes, tab 9.
Tab 9. Yes,
Tab
sir.
9, Mayor. This is a proposed resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving a special exception to permit a place of worship on an approximately 44,431 square foot parcel located at 1088 Maury Drive as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Move it. Motion for approval is first, who was it? Mr. Burgess? Ms. Tricia Fairclough? Is there a report from staff? Anything from staff?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
The applicant, Greater Miami Youth for Christ, is requesting a special exception to permit a church within the existing building located at 1088 West Maury Drive. The applicant intends to utilize the existing building for a 50-seat church with 19 on-site parking spaces. The church will focus on extending mentoring and religious teaching to youth in the area. The property is zoned Southwest Planned Urban Neighborhood Industrial Sub-Area District and has a future land use designation of planned urban neighborhood. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval of the special exception to permit a church. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the proposed resolution for approval of the special exception to permit a place of worship located at 1088 West Maury Drive, as it meets the criteria and standards set forth in sections 3045D, 3538, and 3396.62 of the City Code.
Okay. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing. Do I have any questions from the council members?
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
Just a quick question. The particular location that it's going in is in an industrial area. I just want to make sure that, for record-keeping purposes, I have no problem with the church going there, but if later on there's a lot of industrial activities that cause a lot of noise, dirt, dust, et cetera, things that are related to an industrial area, that the church doesn't come back and later complain about the other surrounding landowners engaged in industrial activities. So I just want to make sure somehow on there that it's on the record.
We've been working with the applicant for almost 2 years in looking for a location that's suitable for their needs. They liked this specific area because not the parcel immediately south to them, but the parcel south to that one is a city park. So they plan to utilize the park for certain recreational activities. They are aware that it is an industrial sub-area, and they are comfortable with that.
Perfect. And that's all. I just want to make sure it's on the record that they've been notified of it and that they're okay with it. So, perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Is the applicant in the room? Would they like to speak on behalf of the project?
My name is George Brown. I live at 9221 Southwest 70th Street, Miami, Florida, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Greater Miami Youth for Christ. We've been mentoring children in Homestead since the middle 1990s. We've been looking for a number of years for a place that we could expand our activities, and finally found one that really suits our needs. It's in a good location. It's close to the children that we already work with, and we're very excited about having an opportunity to mentor twice as many children. And we're working with Pastor Brock Schiffer of Speedway Community Church to establish a church at the location also. So we would appreciate your approving this exception and allowing us to mentor more children in your community. Thank you.
Most of you know me by now when you know the passion I have for this community. This organization, Youth for Christ, I have had a working relationship both as a pastor here and as an elder at Old Cutler Presbyterian Church. I've known this organization for close to 30 years. Homestead needs 400 Youth for Christ organizations in this community. What they do is extraordinary. We don't want to take your time, just to know that you have my personal pledge that this will be a win-win situation for everybody in this community. God bless you and thanks.
Thank you. Now, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the public that wants to speak in behalf of this project or against this project, you're welcome to speak at this time. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Any final comments, council members? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 10.
Yes. Yes, Mayor. Moving on to tab 10. Tab 10 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for a hotel on an approximately 2.26 acre parcel located southeast of Northeast 20th Avenue, north of Northeast 9th Street, and west of Baptist Way within the Malibu Bay Plan Unit Development, PUD, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Is there... I'm sorry. Is that it, James?
Yes, Mayor.
Sorry. Is there a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded, properly moved and seconded. Staff, Mr. Manager, staff report.
Yes, sir. The applicant Homestead Holdings 2 LLC is requesting a site plan approval for a proposed hotel on a 2.96 acre parcel within the Malibu Bay Planned Unit Development District. The parcel has a future land use map designation of light commercial use. Both the land use and the zoning permit a hotel use. The applicant intends to construct a hotel in a single phase, which includes a 5-story, 71,600 square foot building with 97 rooms. On-site amenities include a pool, a 603 square foot meeting room and breakfast area, siting for public art, and 100 parking spaces. The master development plan for the PUD currently limits the height of the proposed hotel on the site to 5 stories or 70 feet. The proposed hotel is consistent with the approved Malibu Bay PUD master plan, the character of the surrounding area, and the comprehensive plan. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval for the site plan at the September 26th Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Staff recommends that the Mayor and Council approve the proposed resolution granting site plan approval for the proposed 97-room extended stay hotel on a 2.96 acre parcel.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burgess.
Thank you. I guess to the applicant and the staff. This is going to be sitting rather close to the townhomes to the south and I guess to the north of it there. Can you explain to me what type of buffer is going to be put up to protect these people from a 5-story building?
We do require, pursuant to Chapter 29 and site plan requirements, that landscaping buffers be provided.
Right, and would the applicant be able to tell me what their buffer is that they plan to put there? I mean, because obviously, if I had bought a townhome there 6 years ago or whenever those sold, and all of a sudden I'm going to have a 5-story building in my backyard, I'd want to make sure that I was protected, or at least the best ability of the developer to help these people retain their privacy there. So I was just wondering if you guys have gotten that far as to what you plan on doing along those property edges.
Just sir, George Cepero, Prime Group, 4651 Sheridan Street, Hollywood, Florida. We did work a lot on the buffer. The city was very concerned, as you are, city staff, about what that buffer would consist of. So we've exceeded the requirements of code and have a hedge that will, at maturity, reach 6 feet tall. As well as combining with the hedge, there's going to be a series of trees that will go up beyond that, obviously 12 feet and higher as they grow. I don't have an exact count as to what is what, but and I don't have the landscaping there, but we do exceed the code.
Okay, that's my one concern is, I want to make sure these neighbors, and you guys build, all your projects are usually quality projects, but I just want to, my concern was for somebody that's there and all of a sudden is going to have a 5-story building in their backyard and,
And let me point out, this has always been a commercial property. The intent was always to build an office building there, similar to the medical building that we have to the south. So a 5-story building was always what was intended for that
correct,
side.
but I still want to look out for them. Some people may have bought back in there and not been aware as to what was there, or, a lot of properties have changed hands, so I'm just trying to make sure that those neighbors of ours are taken care of. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Burgess. Any other questions from council? Okay, now this is a public hearing, so at this time I will open up the public hearing. Did you want to do a presentation? You're already here. You can explain a little bit to the public
Sure.
about it.
Well, this is, we're planning here at Town Place by Marriott. This is an extended stay product, which is going to be a great complementary asset to the existing 2 hotels that we have there, the Marriott Courtyard and the Hampton Inn. Those are more of short stay type hotels, so this one's it's geared towards people that, might say about 7 days, which will be great for the city, as it will bring both business and tourism, or bring people that want to stay somewhere. It's got a little kitchenette in there, so they can be a little bit self-sufficient, but it'll bring people for a little bit longer and offer them more possibilities. So I think it's going to be a great complement to the other 2 hotels, plus the other commercial ventures that we have planned for the other out parcels. As you know, as you've been told, it's going to be 5-story, 97 rooms, about a little bit over 71,000 square feet. It's going to have another conference room, which adds to the conference rooms already in the townhomes in the Marriott. So we're very excited about it.
Okay, is there anyone in the public that would ask any questions, anything in opposition or support of? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you.
So, Mayor, that concludes your quasi-judicial items for this evening. As tab 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, all pertaining to a proposed single-family neighborhood subdivision, has been pulled by the applicant. So we'll move on to tab 17 under your legislative items. This is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2013 and ending September 30th, 2014 by increasing the total budgeted revenue and expenditures by $278,570, provided for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Manager, any comments?
Mayor, the purpose of the budget amendment is to provide funding for 5 police officers that were discussed during the fiscal year 2014 budget process. The police department had applied for a cops hiring grant, which if it had been approved would have been providing up to $625,000 of funds over a period of 3 years, representing 75% of the funding required for the additional officers. Due to the city's budget excluded funding for these positions because the grant was intended to fund only new positions, not positions already included in the budget. During the budget hearings, staff advised the mayor and council that in the event the grant was not awarded to the city, the funds for the first year would be appropriated from the general's fund balance. Unfortunately, the police grant application did not result in award. Staff recommends the mayor and council approve and amend the budget for fiscal year 2014 for the general fund in the amount of $278,570 as per the attached schedule.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Any questions from council members? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. I will open up the public hearing at this time. Anyone that would like to speak on behalf of this in support or opposition? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Waldman? Yes. Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes,
The motion carries.
thank you. Tab 18.
Yes, tab 18 is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 1 definitions, and Article 3 district regulations in order to provide for athletic fields as a special exception use within the I-1 light industrial zoning district, the I-2 medium industrial zoning district, and the I-3 heavy industrial zoning district, and amending Article 4 supplemental district regulations, Division 8 special exceptions to provide for athletic fields and establish supplemental regulations and standards, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Is there a motion?
Move it. Second.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Staff report. Mr. Manager, anything else?
The proposed ordinance authorizes outdoor athletic fields within the industrial zoning districts as a special exception use subject to the following minimum requirements and supplemental development standards. 1. Permanent restroom facilities shall be provided on site. 2. Field lighting shall not be permitted. 3. If natural turf is utilized, the field shall be sodded and an irrigation system installed and provided in accordance with Section 29(6) subsection 2 of the City Code. The Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval of the proposed use with a minor modification for council consideration, which would allow field lighting where determined appropriate by the City Council. The proposed item was heard before the COW on October 8th. Council directed staff to move the item forward as a special exception use. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the ordinance amending the city code to permit athletic fields within the industrial zoning districts by special exception.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Do we have any questions from council at this point? I have one question. Mr. Manager, we're not creating parks in industrial areas. This is a temporary type of a setup, because I know once you create a park, it's hard to change it back. You're taking industrial properties away.
This ordinance is guided for private development. Over the last 2 years, we've had several residents come in and ask if they could build a soccer field or some type of sporting area, and the current city code doesn't permit that. The B3 district provides that amusement enterprises be conducted within an enclosed building. Many of these applicants don't want to build an enclosed building to have an outdoor type use. So after much thought and consideration and direction by the city council, staff was directed to propose an outdoor athletic field type use.
Okay, thank you. That explains it. This is a public comment, it's a public hearing, so is there any comments from the public for or against? Seeing none, hearing none. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just for clarification, at the last meeting, we did ask this to be a special exception, so as a result, we get to approve any requests that come before us. It's not a matter of right to go in the industrial area. It has to come before council as a special exception, meet all the requirements. We have the ability to say yes or no.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Mayor.
Ms. Wallman?
I just wanted to say that this was a project that we've been working on for a long time. Mr. DiBenedetto, if you recall, was the person behind most of this. I'm very happy with it because they included bathrooms, so I think they thought the process out. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at this time. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 19.
Yes, tab 19 is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Chapter 6 Building and Building Regulations by creating Article 7 Public Safety Radio System Protection to protect radio communications in order to ensure public safety within the city, providing for applicability, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Is there a motion for first reading? Moved by Mr. Maldonado, excuse me. Was there a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Mr. Manager, anything from staff?
The police department has evaluated deficiencies in adequate radio coverage for the city's police department radio system and the interoperability, of the police department radio system with other first responder and public safety communications. Building construction configuration and materials contribute to these deficiencies in radio frequency transmittal within certain buildings, adversely affecting essential public safety communications. The police department has determined that such deficiencies predominantly occur in buildings or structures designed or used for commercial, multifamily dwelling, or institutional use which have over 40,000 square feet of floor area. Additionally, buildings of this size are larger associated with greater incidences of emergency situations requiring radio communication by the police department and other first responders. The proposed ordinance requires compliance by new buildings or structures designed or used for commercial, multifamily dwelling, or institutional use having at least 40,000 square feet of floor area upon the occurrence of one of the following. 1. Submittal of an application for a certificate of occupancy for such building or structure following the effective date of the ordinance. 2. Substantial improvements to a building or structure. Buildings that are inspected by the police department which fail to support the required level of radio coverage shall be required to be either equipped with either a radiating cable or internal multiple antenna system, or rather a repeater, system, which would amplify radio signal strength to provide for functionality of the radio system within the building. A new or improved building or structure shall not be issued a CO unless it complies with the requirements of the ordinance. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the ordinance providing for radio communication for public safety.
Any questions from council?
Mayor, I just got one question.
Malana.
They're going to be required to put these antennas in. My question is, are they going to provide it, or is that something that they have to see our police department and go to them to acquire the equipment, or is it something that they just need to make sure that they meet the requirement and have that installed?
Upon applying for a building permit, if a structure is 40,000 square feet, let's take New Commercial for example, we would refer that project to the police department. They would put in a simple application with police, and police would conduct testing. If the building was found to be insufficient in radio communications, the applicant would then have to provide this repeater system. It would then go through another series of testing to assure that it complies with the adequate communications that our police department and first responders require.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Just a couple quick questions. The first one is from the staff report. This only applies to new construction, correct?
It applies to new construction, but there is a catch-all. If a building is going through major renovations, and it does meet that 40,000 square foot requirement, it would necessitate compliance with the ordinance.
Okay. Because I support the concept 100%. I think this is very important for the safety of our officers and safety of our community. The only question I have, do we have an idea what this extra cost is going to be for the buildings? I mean, is it a $5,000 expense? Is it a $100,000 expense?
I don't have that information at this time, but I can tell you that it would be contingent upon project size, materials that are being used, building materials. Those are all variables that we can't estimate at this time.
Okay, because that's the only concern I have is the unintended consequences of passing something that on its face is a fantastic and worthwhile needed. But at the same time, I hate to see, it end up hurting our ability to attract businesses because we keep hearing that over and over and over again. And if it's a huge cost, and I don't know what that is. And so maybe before second reading, if you guys could at least give an estimation of what that ballpark figure would be, just so we know what we're approving.
Mayor, if I could, I think we have some ideas. Scott, did you want to talk about this? You have the estimates with you? Stephen. Okay. We can get you this answer now, I think.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I'm just curious before,
You just take one of the microphones.
I'm Stephen Smith. I'm in technology for the police department. One of the BDA systems was placed into the Publix. It was a single antenna because it was not an extremely large building. It's also very open in there, and I don't believe it was more than $5,000. It's a minimum cost when you look at the overall construction cost of a new building as well. So we also those we actually paid for out of a grant. At the next reading, I can have the actual cost for those locations for you.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to go ballpark. 5,000. Right. That's not a big deal when you're talking about a 40,000 square foot structure.
Right.
But if it's significantly more than that, then I just wanted to make sure I knew what the effects were going to be on the person actually coming into our community to build. And then I have a follow-up question related to, I see that there's an inspection, an annual inspection that's supposed to take place. Do we have an idea what we're going to charge all of our buildings or for that particular inspection, or is that just going to be something we do with no charge?
It's not going to be a citywide initiative. It would just be specific to the buildings in which we required the BDA upgrade to. The police department and development services have discussed a nominal fee of $50. Upon second reading, we will bring forward a resolution to update the building fee schedule, and that specific item will be addressed at that time.
Okay.
And Mayor, if I could, just to address the concern and the discussion he mentioned, in the Publix case, there was only one antenna. Where we see with fire suppression systems, sometimes the thing ends up becoming a major thing depending on the space. And so we're going to have to monitor this thing carefully to see that it doesn't become something where you need 5 or 10 antennas in there, and then see how we're doing over time. But I think the intent is to try to keep this as low cost as possible and to provide the maximum safety for everybody involved. But it's a good point that, if we start seeing the costs escalating, we'll brief you on some of the hurdles we face here. We also have some concerns about other areas that don't have these, and we have some communication issues as there are, and so we didn't feel we could go back on some of those issues, but those are also a concern to the police department as well.
Well, that's what I saw here, like schools, and so I assume,
Right.
that to me is really critical and important to, again, it's to make a charter school and/or a public school to go back and now put money out when they're not planning on it is going to be a difficult, proposition. But at the same time, if any place needs the communication, it's schools. So, just something we need to weigh, and that's why I raise it as an issue, because I don't want it to be cost prohibitive, where everyone says, well, we're not going to invest in the city of Homestead because they add X number of fees on top of that. But at the same time, it's something we desperately need for our officers and I think for the safety of our community. So let's just weigh that out, and also with the inspections, making sure that we don't end up having so much staff time dedicated to inspections. It won't happen year 1, year 2, because this is going to take place slowly. But at some point, we're going to have a lot of inspections to do all across the city, and making sure, again, that's not going to be something that we can't afford to provide.
It's kind of an extreme example, but people in the emergency response business were somewhat shocked at the World Trade Center when the emergency personnel arrived there and they couldn't even communicate with each other in the building. And so it's just something that over time I think everybody's going to catch on with, but it's absolutely an expense.
Right. Question. Do we know how many buildings already that are equipped with this? Just maybe you could bring us some numbers of how many buildings have it, so we just have an idea. Is it 5 buildings, and it has to do with a certain percentage of square feet? How many square feet do they need to be?
The ordinance calls for 40,000 and up.
There's the 2 Publix buildings has it now, and the hospital is being completed as we speak.
Okay.
So it's just the 3.
And just so I asked a question so we could get an idea what the size of a building we're looking at, moving on in the future.
Well, I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Montaldo is saying, is what is the percentage of applications that this ordinance is going to affect? Is it 5%, 10%, 20%? You might be able to look back and see how many projects have come in at over 40,000 square feet, and base that on what's the percentage of, because it is a reoccurring fee, it is a cost that's going to be passed on to, developers, and so I think we're all concerned about the same thing. So I'd like to kind of have an idea, if we could, what percentage is this going to affect?
At the current time, Mayor and Council, I can tell you that in the public hearing process, we have the hotel and a couple of commercial developments, a handful of larger commercial developments. We're still coming out of the recession slowly. Development's not at a boom as it was once upon a time. So the percentage at this time is very, very minimal. The ordinance is not retroactive. It only calls for previously constructed buildings if they're doing a major type of renovation. So it's minimal at this time.
Right. If you can, you probably have some ability to look at some reasonable numbers. I know you've got a lot of commercial out east. You've got a lot of industrial out east that this may have a huge effect on. Just give us an idea, if you can, of what percentage. Is it going to be 10% that's going to be affected, or less than 1%? It will make a difference in second reading, just as an informational piece.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one more question, and to the city manager, as you've mentioned that, I'm piggybacking off a communication issue. I know that out in my area, Malibu Bay, Waterstone, communication for the police seems to come up time and time again, and so I'm wondering when can we look at this for the city as a whole? And since we're piggybacking off communications, is there something that maybe a thought of how any new communities come in, are they required something like this? Just a thought. Just want to put a thought out there and just figure out a time when we have this discussion again. That's all. Thank you.
Anything else from council right now? This is a public hearing. I will open up the public hearing at this time. Are there any comments for or against this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none. Any final comments from council? I'll close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough.
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman.
Yes.
Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Tab 20.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for each of the several funds and departments of the city for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2013, ending September 30, 2014, by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $7,007,321, providing for repealer, severability, and effective date. This is the first reading.
Is there a motion?
Move it.
Is there moved and seconded, properly moved and seconded? Manager, Mr. Manager?
Mayor, the purpose of this amendment is to roll the amounts encumbered primarily for ongoing capital projects at fiscal year end 2013 into the current fiscal year's budget. Staff recommends mayor and council approve and amend the fiscal year 2014 budget for various funds as per the attached schedule.
Questions from council? So these are not budget increases, these are ongoing projects that are being rolled into the new fiscal year?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, this is a public hearing. I will open up the public hearing at this time. Any questions from the audience? Anyone in favor or against? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Waldman. Councilman Burgess.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yes.
Mayor Porter.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Business from the manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just one thing I'd like to recognize. I guess maybe 6 months or so ago, there was a recent graduate of the Masters in Public Administration program who was basically looking to do an internship with any city that would have him. And he's from Des Moines, Iowa, and he's been with us for about 6 months now, Adam Hackman. And Friday is his last day. He learned everything he needed to know about government, and he's running right back to Iowa. Also, he lives in Des Moines, and for those of you who may be considering running for President of the United States, Iowa caucuses will be around pretty soon, so feel free to reach out to Adam, and he's very knowledgeable about the caucuses over there. And Adam, thank you very much for being with us all this time.
That's it. Mr. Attorney?
Two brief items. First of all, as a legal matter, I will tell you that this curved table is really a great idea because
Absolutely.
it enables
Absolutely.
I don't know who built it in the Parks Department, Dennis, but I think it's a really great, and it's very easy to see everybody. The other thing I just wanted to let you know, Publix has filed an application for a replat and a site plan. Our firm does some appellate work for Publix. It doesn't present a legal conflict, but I did want to tell you, and we're going to be very careful about advising staff on that, but I did want to tell you that if there's an issue that comes up that's serious, we'll get another neighboring city attorney to come in and advise staff, but we don't really see it as a controversial issue. Pardon? Where's that, James?
Give me 1 second, because I really haven't looked at it, so.
I think it's on Palm in Tennessee.
2035 Northeast 36th Avenue.
You'll see it probably in December, but I just wanted to make you aware.
That's it, Mr. Attorney?
That's it.
Okay, reports from Mayor and Council. Councilman Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. Maldonado notes here. First, it's our first council, right? It's first. Yeah, first, everyone. Congratulations, everyone. Went well. I'm happy to be here again with you guys. Today I served as principal of the day, believe it or not. And I always say I wish my principal could see me now and see that I'm back at the schools. And let me tell you, every time I walk through the hallways, I was at Campbell Drive Middle School, which I attended, and there's a lot of memories there, and being in that school, you have to appreciate what those administrators, my hat's off to you, Ms. Fairclough, and all that you do to make sure that our schools and our kids get a great education. So my hat's off to them. Being principal for the day, every time that I have participated, and I've participated in the last 4 years, I tend to see another layer of what happens in the schools and the importance of it. And so it was my honor to be there. I always get a chance to, I always take a moment to speak to the 500 role model students and talk to them about, listen, I've been in this school, I've came through the process and I made it. And the key to this is education. And so it's always a great time. And so I know that many of my colleagues as well have done this time and time again. And so that was a great experience. I was today. So I was with, I want to thank Paul Pfeiffer for everything he does, because he is the principal there at Kenwood Drive Middle School. So Paul, thank you for all that you do and your staff. Second, on Saturday, November 23rd, the City Homestead Police Explorers, Terry Weinstein representing the County Council, PTA, and my assistant, Eddie Sanchez, will be delivering turkeys to 15 needy families that were identified from the following schools: West Homestead Elementary, Kenwood Drive Middle, and Homestead Middle School. I will be out of town, so unfortunately I will not be here to attend that. But it's good to be able to give back during the holidays, and so we've identified these families from the local schools and providing the whole turkey and stuffing and all the good stuff that goes with it. So Homestead Education Committee will be meeting Thursday, November 21st, which is tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Please join us there. Also, I started my first monthly newsletter, and it serves as a vehicle to share information about the City of Homestead news and events, local area school news and events, as well as community happenings. So the first one went out. You might want to put it away and for history's sakes and stuff like that. And also, 2014 Relay for Life Committee and team meeting is Monday, November 25th at 6:30 p.m. at the Waterstone 2 Clubhouse. For more information on the relay, please call Terry Weinstein. And we have our number there. It's 305-219-3065. That's November 25th at 6:30 p.m. And also, last but not least, the 2014 Relay for Life kickoff party for sponsors, survivors, families, caretakers, committee members, team members is December 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Waterstone 2 Clubhouse. I would invite my colleagues if you would join us in this kickoff. Judy, you know how important this is, and I know you've been there and led this effort. And so our relay kickoff, again, it's December 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Waterstone 2 Clubhouse. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This Sunday, I'm partnering with Homestead Palace Gardens to host a Thanksgiving feast, a full-course, first-class feast in the Oasis community on Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. So if there are any residents that would like to participate in that, please join us on this Sunday from 3 to 6. I would love to just sit down and conversate with you and break bread. On December 7th, there's a Rock and Rib Fest to raise funds to support nonprofits in the community hosted by Larry Roth. And the following week, there's a chili cook-off at Harrisville for schools as well as a community carnival. And I thank the Parks and Recreation Department for working with me on that. We are a dynamic duo under the leadership of Councilwoman Wallman with Parks and Recs, and I thank you for everything that you've done so far. Dennis and Pedro, you've been phenomenal, and I know I'm encouraged that it's going to be an exceptional event because of your efforts. I also would like to thank Councilman Maldonado for all of your support in education, and I view you as a partner in education because all of the work that you're doing, Vice Mayor Burgess, and this entire council, it does my heart good to see that this council is committed to causes affecting children, in particular education. So I'd like to see and hear all of those events that you're participating in. And I thank all of those community leaders and business leaders who participated in Principal Today. And I'd like for your impact to extend beyond today and invite you to serve as principal today at my school, but during lunchtime, kindergarten lunchtime. And then let's see if you come back as principal for today. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Wallman?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and it's so nice to call you Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to be called
First
that.
official council meeting. I too, Mr. Wise stole my thank you, but no, it's okay. I'm happy. This is wonderful. I can see Patricia, I can see Mayor Porter, I can see everybody, so it's fantastic. They never let me down. I have a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to get right into it. If you weren't here at the beginning of the council meeting when we did presentations, we have our Parks and Recs book that was just published. Begonia and of course Dennis, Pedro, and the Parks and Rec staff. This is fantastic. It tells you all about all the parks that we have in our community, what their amenities are, time, hours. It's just fantastic. I'm so proud of them for putting this together. And we have samples over here on the table if there's any left. If not, we'll get them to you if you'll just call Parks and Recs. And if you'd like to put them in your businesses or anything like that, just let us know, because we want to make sure everybody knows just how wonderful our parks are here in the city of Homestead. The United States Vets Motorcycle Club is having their Reefs Across America drive. The reefs are $15 each, and they're live reefs. And on December 14th, a Christmas wreath will be placed on every veteran's grave in the Palms Woodland Cemetery. I've been working with them for several years. It's amazing what these motorcycle clubs can do. A beautiful ceremony, and I encourage, excuse me, I encourage all of you to pick up an application over here and pay the $15 and donate a wreath for a veteran's grave. Every December I do a toy. Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm close enough here. Every December I do a toy drive. And it's already coming up on December. I just can't believe it. So you'll see toy boxes around town. We have 8 Walgreen locations, the Malibu Bay Clubhouse, Mamma Mia's, the community center here, the City Hall at Portofino, and Homestead Tire and Auto Service Center. If anybody would like a toy box for their business, please get in touch with me or the city manager's office. Ask for Heather, and we'll be happy to put one there. We'll be distributing toys throughout the community during the holidays. Mayor Porter and I I don't know how we're doing this, but we're putting together 90 turkey dinners to give out for people who need some help at Thanksgiving. So those 90 turkeys will be distributed throughout the community. We research families to make sure that it's going to where it needs to go. And I want to thank Mr. Porter for supplying all the vegetables, and we're putting it together. I got the pies donated yesterday, so we're putting it together. So we'll be doing that next Tuesday. Ms. Faircloth, I am excited about your Oasis Thanksgiving dinner, and I want to extend an invitation because the Palace Gardens is hosting a holiday reception at the Villages of Homestead Clubhouse. Everybody in the community is invited. I encourage you to please call my office and RSVP. We want to make sure we have enough goodies for everybody, and I'm sure Ms. Faircloth would appreciate the same thing, but I'm inviting all of Mayor and Council and all the citizens in the community. It's going to be very nice. It's December 12th. It'll be from 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Palace Gardens is such a wonderful community partner, and they always step forward to help us. So I encourage you to come by. We'll have entertainment, hors d'oeuvres. It'll be really first class. The next thing I wanted to talk about is something a little personal. As you all know, my little grandson, he's going to be 15 years old. Can't believe it. You've watched him grow up. He has autism, and it's life-changing for our family, because he just he'll probably never be able to be like your child or my son was, but he's remarkable, and he's starting a little business, and he's selling in his classroom. He's selling dog biscuits, and all the money goes towards autism. So if anybody would like to buy a little package of dog cookies, they're really good. I've passed them around to a few. They're $5 for a bag, and I think it's called Paulicious or something like that. And they're actually good. They're made out of peanut butter. They're all organic, peanut butter, applesauce. So I tasted one. It's not too bad. I expect Boo to be ordering a package of dog biscuits, but they're $5, and I think that's wonderful because hopefully the money will go to an autistic service dog for a child that needs one. So if you want to place any orders for Christmas for dog biscuits, please contact me. And thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you. And congratulations, Vice Mayor and Councilman Maldonado and Councilman Williams, who's not here, but it's nice to have y'all back.
Thank you, Ms. Walden. Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, Mayor Porter. I too took part of Principal Today for the 6th time. And as both of my colleagues said, it is an eye-opening experience, but it's a rewarding experience to go there and see that there are children that want to give it their all and succeed and have great questions and ambition, and not all youth is wasted, as many of us older people start to believe some days. So I just want to say to Miss Rochelle Surency at Homestead Middle School and to her students that helped me and guided me through there today, and her leadership team, a great big thank you, because they are working diligently and hard every day over there to make sure those kids have a chance to succeed. And it's one thing that I look forward to. And just to let you know, one thing that I did ask them for today, and they promised to bring me, was a wish list. And as I've stated several times, as this $2 billion is being doled out down at the county level, we need to make sure that our schools down here get their fair share and are paid attention to. So as they bring this list to us, I'm going to share it with each and every one of you. And as we run into the superintendent or Dr. Feldman or any other board members, that we can express our concerns and our needs down here, so we can make sure that we get our fair share of money, because for many years we sent money north and never received much benefit down here to the south. So I think as this moves forward, we need to make sure we stay on top of that. Earlier tonight, we also talked about adopting a family for Christmas through the Chapman Partnership. And once again, if anybody's interested in doing that, you can call 305-416-7121. And what this does is help people that are out there that are also trying and fighting their way back through the system for whatever reason, whether it was this family that was given to me tonight through an electrical fire that caused them to lose their home, or just bad luck, or whatever it was. These people are put through a regimen out there that instills the way for them to come back and succeed in life. And I think a little bit of thought and caring at Christmas goes a long way with these families, and I think she said they have 100 children that are there on a nightly basis. So if anybody can reach into their heart or into their pockets and help these families out, I'm sure homemade gifts are just as good as anything if you don't have a gift at all. So if anybody could help, once again, the Chapman Partnership is looking for people to help partner them up to help families through the Christmas time, especially the families that have children that are homeless. To the manager, several meetings ago I asked about an ordinance for these paper boxes that are appearing on corners everywhere and seem to populate overnight. Are we close to getting some language where we can bring that forward?
Development Services is working with the City Attorney's Office to draft an ordinance and move that forward for your consideration.
Okay, so maybe at the next meeting perhaps?
I don't think that we'll be able to make the CAL. We're looking more at January.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was moving along, because they're there and they seem to multiply overnight like those drop boxes did. Let me see what else. To the manager again, if I could request his office and through Public Works that we could possibly get a light, a meeting with the county about the light at East Maury and 152. I want to make sure that the urgency is expressed to them
as it needs to be, as that's becoming a bad intersection every morning with the school exodus and people doing U-turns or turning from the wrong lanes, and it's causing more and more problems on that side of town. And I know I stated when we built that school that we need to stay on top of that. So I would like personally to go perhaps with Mr. Breyer or somebody from the manager's office down to the county and express our concern and our urgency to get that. And also at 137 and 312, include that intersection also, if we could, please. I think there's an easy solution there, but for whatever reason, they seem to be dragging their feet. That's about it for tonight. You guys have covered my other items, so I would say that, and just tell Michelle you did a good job sitting there tonight, filling in for Mr. Cordino. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item. About 2 years ago, I started working the YMCA. We were trying to bring a turkey trot to the city of Homestead because all major cities have the turkey trot. And unfortunately, all the timing companies are all booked up that day throughout the whole state of Florida. So we had a backup plan, and the backup plan after 2 years is a Jingle Bell Run. So on December 14th at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a Jingle Bell Run that starts at Baptist Hospital and then runs and finishes at the YMCA. There'll be an after party from 5:30 to 7:30. If you want to register, you can go to ymcajinglebellrun.com or call 305-248-5189. It's $25 to run. But there's also, if you're not a runner, you can walk it, but there's also a costume contest. So wear your lights, wear your funny Christmas clothes, and the best costume also wins a prize. And along the route, you'll have decorations and lights and things to keep you moving and keep you going. So it should be a fun event for all of South Dade, and the proceeds benefit the scholarship programs and youth programs of the YMCA here locally. So I encourage everyone to come out. It should be a good time. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just a comment to the manager. I want to compliment your staff, the public works employees, the police department, all the people that ran the second city this weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. You know, you put 100,000 people in a community of 66,000. And basically, you're running two communities. And that's a very big challenge because of the service factor of electric, garbage, making sure the water doesn't, all the systems work. And that's a huge challenge, and the employees did a great job and pulled off a very successful event. And I just wanted you to pass that along to the employees. What a great job.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that.
It was a very successful event, and I think we should all be grateful to Homestead Miami Speedway and obviously Ford for continuing to support this event in Homestead. We still have the championship weekend, and we're competing with really, really big cities to keep this. So we need to support the facility. Matt Beecher and Al Garcia, they do a great job for us as representatives of the Speedway. So, but really, basically, Manager, I just wanted to tell you, you guys and girls did a great job, and thank you very much for that. Really, that's all I have. So. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Good night.